JJ is the ultimate producer and he's the artist, so if he's like no, it don't matter what dope idea I have. But the way we work in the YP clan with like me, RC, Sean, and Jerome and Dre, is it's an open forum. So while we rehearsing, if you feel something, say it. Like, it's not a dictatorship. And I do that because I like to surround myself with musicians who are much better than me and who can play much better than me and who can interpret music in different ways. What up, boy? In different ways than I can. Because that makes me better. If I can only play shouting music and I'm only playing at a shout box on Sundays, and I'm never playing R&B, I'm never going to get good at playing R&B. I'm always going to be good at playing shout music. And vice versa. If I'm a swing player and I want to like ting 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 ting, and that's my thing, and I'm like, yo, I want to learn how to play like church music and never go to a church or never sit down with other like really good church players, I'm never going to get sweet at that. Never ever going to get sweet at that. I'm always going to play my thought of what church is. So let that be a lesson to all of y'all too. Don't only surround yourselves with people who can play at your level or people who can play almost as good as you. Be with people who can really tear you apart. And like make you walk out of the door like, I suck. I need to go back and practice. You know what I'm saying? Because as you do that, that enhances it. So, let's kill this long story. I'm ready to play some drums.
Yes.
We did that, and we created No Reason to Fear. This song is kind of cool because it's like church, but it's pattern driven. But it's church, but it's pattern driven. So I want us, while I'm playing this, don't look at me weird because I might mess up. I'm kidding. But literally try to envision what you hear on the record and then what you're about to hear me play, because everything that I played pretty much except the setups will be a little different. But everything else from the drum perspective will be exactly the same. And it's pattern driven, which is what we're going to talk about after this. Have y'all talked about patterns in here like that?
Somewhat. Okay, cool.
Who wants to be a working drummer? What up, Pastor? Who wants to be a working drummer? Y'all know about patterns? Y'all really know about patterns, or y'all just kind of know about patterns? Y'all kind of, okay, we're going to talk. Listen, that's why we're here. We're going to talk about patterns. You ain't going to never work in this industry if you don't know patterns. You will never work in this industry. You will get to a certain level, but when you want to get to the level of like your Geralds and your Aarons and Rex Hardys and so forth and so on, they're working because they play patterns. And No Reason to Fear is pattern oriented. So I'm going to do that. We'll talk about it as soon as it's over, all right?
Android man.
Hold my mic.
Don't fade out.
Fade out.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's Tim's fault. Pick it up, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more time now.
All right, so let's talk about that song. So thank you, Doc. So let's talk about that song. As I said before, when we recorded it, all that drum programming, nothing was there. So the final. Only thing we had was a click. Who's best friends with the click? Who hates the click? Oh, I hate her. Hate her. Hate her.
You too close to her? Like that?
I don't like the click. But in order for me to work,
Be best friends?
you gotta be best friends. The click is like the vegetables when you're 5 that your mom really wants you to eat that you don't want to digest.
Mm.
And if you don't eat it, you're gonna regret it. Like, I can't tell you how many people are playing shows to clicks only. They hate it, but so it keeps everybody on time. You know what I mean? And if you're playing like stadiums, 15,000 people, it's hard to keep everybody on time by yourself. It's almost impossible. Like, you gotta really be able to keep it on. I mean, for anybody who plays at a church, it's hard to keep a church on without a loop. I mean, choir be rushing or slowing, vocals be slowing down, and you be trying.
Yep.
And they be like, you like, come on, yo. You know what I'm saying? So the click is your friend. I hate her sometimes. I hate her most times. I don't like playing with it by myself, but I realize that in order for me, that's what I have to marry. Is everyone in here? Everybody in here has a metronome?
Yep.
Y'all practice with y'all metronomes?
Yep.
Sometimes, when you feel like it, you don't. Practice with your metronome. Everyone in here has laptops and dolls and Logic and stuff. You have a way to record your drums in Logic? Okay, easy. It's even better. You got to click in Logic, right? Don't Logic have an internal mic?
Mm-hmm.
Turn that click on and play. And as you start recording, RC, when we first did the first JJ record that we did with The Blood Still Works, you know that one? Man, I was all over the place. Because the click was like 160, and then when I would start at 160, then I would fluctuate to 162, then fall back to 158, then move back up to 160, then fluctuate. And metronome don't lie. Never. And all the beats on every drum is right on the screen next to the metronome.
It's on the grid.
It's on the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So, if this is metronome, some of my beats were here. Some of my beats were here. Very few of my beats were here. Your job is to have as many beats here as you possibly can. You do that, you will always get a phone call. Because I'm going into like production world, like beyond drums. One thing I hate is editing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I gotta nudge you every 2 beats or every measure and a half, you're wasting my time. Not me. I'm speaking for someone else who's gonna call you all later on. And if it's wasting my time, it's wasting my money. You know what I mean? And RC was like, yo, dog, you gotta get on the grid. And I was looking at Facebook the other day, and Calvin is talking about like creating his own plugins, which is super killing to me. I think it's a dope idea. and he was recording playing his drums, obviously, and I saw the metronome, and literally the hi-hat, the bass drum, the tom, the snare, the cymbals were all in alignment. And I said, that's why he working. Like, beyond the flams and the he's working because his beats are sitting with that metronome. So fall in love with the click. Fall in love with the click. It'll be your friend. Me and the click still separate and divorce every gig. But I love her. More than she knows. You feel me? So all that to say, we recorded that song to a straight click, and we called my boy James Harris, who's dopest aux player, one of the dopest aux players that I know. And I said, all right, bro, we want to go EDM with these files that we have. We want to go EDM with this. He's like, all right, cool. And he had to literally see the vision that we created with just drums, bass, keys, and organ, and build the drums around what I played, and build the aux around what Sean played, and build the synth bass parts around what Jay Bratton played. So whenever you're in a course of creating music, you're not creating music for the moment. You're creating music for the listener that you don't know that has to digest this song. Everybody's not going to be able to. Our grandmothers are not going to digest No Reason to Fear. It's not entitled for them to digest No Reason to Fear. It's entitled for us to digest No Reason to Fear. The millennials, the contemporaries, the musically sound, the musically intelligent, which is all of us. All right? So, in that verse, I have no reason to fear. That is purposeful. Along with the hi-hat. Notice there's no bass drum, because he's adding that. In all of our concepts, he's adding it. So when I'm all that's purposeful. When we go to the vamp, I had no reason to fear. Now he knows where the big hits are. Because all that stuff is very, 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 very intentional. So when you all play on your Sunday morning gigs, scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the greatest, how intentional are you? Be honest. 5? 10? 10? 7? Depends on the song. If you like the song, right? Depends on who's playing bass. Nah, all those variables, I totally understand. I mean, and all my boys back at home, they get on me because I'm the toughest on bass players. Like, if you don't got a certain tone and you don't play a certain way, I don't want to play no way near you. Like, it's just bad. It's like aggravating, to be honest. But whether I'm playing with one of my favorite bass players or one of my least favorite bass players, it's still my job to be intentional about what I'm playing, because what I play affects him. And what he plays is affected by the keyboard player. And if the keyboard player ain't feeling what I'm playing, and the keyboard player is fishing, you playing your own thing, the bass player is trying to lock with you, you have a whole band fishing. And at no point do you get into a place where you have locked in a specific group. Am I saying anything that's like going over your head?
No.
Be honest with me, please. Please.
It's good stuff.
Is this making sense? Is making sense?
People saying you talking, Doc. You talking, Doc.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the difference between a really great band and a really good band is the really great band is never fishing. Even if they get to a moment where they have to start fishing, you never know. And what helps you not to fish is the chemistry. Chemistry is established by the consistency in what you play. Every time you play, you playing the same thing, and that bass player knows exactly where to fall in. And the keyboard player knows exactly where to fall in. You know what I'm saying? So even if we playing a bump or a ballad or How Great Is Our God, it don't matter. When we start playing, it's already established. I'll give you an example of someone who's a band who's established. Baltimore, Mike Reed, Justin Savage, and Adam Johnson. That's established. It's all the way established.
Team.
All the way established. They can never play together for years and then go do a gig and play songs that they never rehearsed, and it sounds like to us that they are exactly where they're supposed to be. Another band that never fishes, and this is I'm a little biased, and I gotta be completely honest. The Funk Rock Orchestra. They ain't never fishing. Wait, hold on. Does everyone know who the Funk Rock Orchestra is? Okay, Funk Rock Orchestra exists of Aaron Spears, Buddy Strong, Valdez, and Natural. The Usher band. Established. It was never fishing. I mean, and even when they went into rehearsal, they came knowing the music, and it falls in line. I hope I'm not supposed to say this, but I was fortunate to do a session with Aaron and Buddy together, and it was like, yo man, what we gonna play? I don't know, man. What we gonna play? I don't know. And Buddy just started like figuring stuff out, and then Aaron just started playing, and then literally in 2 minutes they had a song. Just done. I'm talking about hits, everything, like the direction, everything was completely put together. You know what I'm saying? Completely put together. Another band, Danny Witherspoon, Cedric Thompson, Coon, and Mel Gray on that bass. Whoa. Like, that's every Donald Lawrence song that you heard prior to the finale. Yeah. I could be wrong. I could be off a record or two. Like, they played Bomb and Gilead. They played Finally Karen record. They played Said I Never. It's there. So, and because we're the heart, all drummers in here, we're the heartbeat of that band. Man, I mean, we in New York. We can talk about heads.
Come on.
I mean, it's right here in front of us.
It's right in front of us.
It's right here in front of us. You know what I mean? We can go all the way back. We can go all the way back to the beginning of the time. Even to, and I mean, we saw the videos of y'all playing the big live recording, and it never fell off because it was just locked. You know what I'm saying? And what I respect most is through the lineage of all the musicians, the vibe has never changed. And even like as I see like Dev and Shawan coming up, I see them falling into the lineage that's already been established from Jay and from Gerald and from Jeff. You know what I'm saying? It's like the lineages are now. Devin is going off on his own, you know, playing like and Shawan digga. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? That lineage is there. You know what I'm saying? So the lineage is there. Right? Talking about that, I want to move to another song. Wait, anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? All right, cool. Yes,
about the pattern oriented. What was that exactly about?
Pattern oriented was really about staying true to the EDM world. In the beginning of the song, and then trying to infuse some type of church so that we don't venture way off from where we started.
So no actual pattern.
Nope. First pattern is this. Second pattern is when the drums come in. Last pattern. We get to the vamp is my interpretation of church, where I infuse like kind of like this Latin thing. It's kind of this thing I've stumbled upon. It's kind of been what I do. When we go to the vamp, those are the only patterns. Only patterns. Yes, sir.
Titus asked, "What's a paradiddle?" He said, "Play some shout music."
But I mean, and honestly, those were the patterns of that song. And literally, like I said, James Harris, what he did was he created the EDM expression based off of that foundation. Literally.
What's the name of the song again?
No Reason to Fear. J.J. Harris, No Reason to Fear. Talking about bass players, Morgan Turner is like one of my favorite bass players in all the world. He's super killing. We just did a record for Charles Butler called The Blood Experience, and we played this song called The Blood of Jesus, where we're dancing in and out of a lot of little patterns and a lot of little things. Y'all want me to talk about it first, or y'all want to play it? Let's play.
Play dog.
Play dog.
Play dog.
That's exactly how Morgan would say it too.
Titus said I hate Morgan.
Oh, Titus.
Titus said what?
I hate Morgan.
Alright, this song's called The Blood of Jesus. It has some patterns in it. And we're going to talk about it for sure. Alright? There's an ode to Marvin McQuitty in the bridge. And we went straight Fred Hammond, me and Morgan. And we're going to talk about that too. Pray for me, Devin.
Oh man.
Here we
Well, dog.
Alright, while we talk about that, can you turn the mic off for me?
Look, you hot now, right, dog? It's not cold no more.
It's warm. Okay.
Hold on. Get on.
Alright,
He's like, what you doing?
I was like, what did you do?
He was like,
The Android did it. Alright, so let's talk about that. Where do we start?
Catch your breath, son.
I had to play like 2 songs. Jesus. So that song was originally recorded by Myron Butler, and Sput recorded it. And I thought what they did was like super dope. Sput is like super killing. We don't even gotta talk about him. From early on Kirk Franklin to God's Property to Dorinda Clark to Ted Wynn Records, Myron Butler Levi Records. Sput's just snarky. Sput is just that guy. But the way they did it was a bit different. Can I see my phone again? Please.
They
I was
quiz.
trying to hear the original intent. We'll play like 30 seconds of it, and then we'll talk about what we did. Thank you. Appreciate you, buddy. You like Josh Mayfield.
Nah, he do got a little Josh on it. He got a little Josh on him.
Yo, you did like Josh Mayfield. It just hit me like just did. Josh the homie too, yo. I love Josh's playing. Josh is so killer. All right, let's talk. Let's just listen to like 2 seconds of that.
Yo, Josh, you can come in February, bro?
All right. Please don't play a commercial.
Chuck is the one who burns spaghetti.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I kind of got the picture of where they're going with this, right? All right, so again, as I said, my whole thing is dare to be different. Don't play, if you're doing a record, I mean, let me be specific. When you're doing a record, because gospel is in the state that it's in, you will at some point in time play a song that's already been recorded. Think about at that time what your expertise can lend to the song. I never do any production that I ever do. I'm never doing it by myself. There's always a team of brains. Bible talks about 1 can chase 1,000, but 2 can chase 10,000. 2 can put 10,000 to flight, which means that there's power in numbers. You can, sometimes we have the spirit of David and we can go out and slay Goliath with a pebble. Sometimes we can. But I believe that more can be accomplished when more people are in the room and brains can work together. Straight up. All right. So on this particular record, it's myself, Morgan, Phil Walker, and Dre Jones as well. And we were like, man, we want to just try to make the song different. Still give it the same feeling, but make it different. So we fell into that Motown groove, where it's like just fall on the floor, just on a ride. Real like James Jamerson, early Motown, Detroit, upstairs in the basement. You know what I'm saying? Upstairs in the basement. Listen to me. No basements are upstairs. No basements are upstairs. Not one. Y'all got what I meant though. The attic is an upstairs basement. Duh. I'm just kidding. And like they were in there, like playing those.
Doo-doo.
And they're playing these. Like we can go all the way from Four Tops to Temptations to Stevie Wonder. They were all eventually we ended up here. So we kind of fell into that thing, and it was really cool. It was like, oh, yo, this can work for the band. All right, cool. We got a band settled. Where are we moving from here? All right, we got to get the verse together. So we started talking about the verse, and we started playing a whole bunch of different. Thank you. We started playing like a whole bunch of different options, a whole bunch of different grooves, and Phil started just quarter notes on those. Quarter notes on the chords, and it was like, yo, this is dope. Thank you. Like, yo, this is like really killing. Let's take this idea and let's move from it. And we sat literally with this moment for a long time. And when I finally got an idea, my first Charles Butler record is a record called Better. I remember I was like really stuck with how to approach it. And I went to Jamal's house, Jamal Moore. Jamal was like, yo, create a pattern. Like, create a pattern. I'm like, what's that? He's like, yo, like, create a pattern. Like, create it. So first I was like, all right. He was like, man, they've been playing that since the beginning of the drums. What's that gonna do? So we found this pattern. So from that moment of a memory of create a pattern, I've always been influenced by, if I have a space to create a pattern, I'm going to create a pattern. So we fell into this. And we were like, yo, that works. Now, let's go into the why. I'm a why guy. All right. Why meaning I ask questions of why is this here? Why is this crash here? Like that's the kind of person I am. Why does this pattern work? Well, it works for a couple of reasons. For one, it fits the quarter note that the keyboard is playing. Bump, 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 bump. Then it fits what Morgan's playing. Morgan's playing boom, 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 ticka boom. You never want to be the type of drummer that's playing your own thing while everyone else is playing something separate.
Mm.
You never want to be that guy. I mean, because I could have been like, cool, but how is that married to the rest of the unit? And as we talked about earlier, you have a job as a drummer to marry everyone that's around you. M-A-R-R-Y. Kind of like a husband and wife. Marriage is when the two become one. I just recently got married, so shout out to my wife. She's probably not watching.
That's her? How you doing? How you doing? That's good. Hi, Miss Maclin. How you doing? You look very nice. You look very nice.
But it's literally when individuals become one. And as a band, I really believe that it's important that every time we play, you should become one. Drumline, one band, one sound.
One
It's
band,
real.
one sound.
It's real. It's real. It's real. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much the explanation of the groove. Is that cool? Is that like fair?
That's
okay,
fair.
Cool.
Can you play the groove for again?
Yeah. So 1, 2. The grooves are on upbeats. Let's. Everybody in here read music? We can talk. Listen, we're here to talk about all of that, dog. Listen, all right, cool. We will talk about it. Trust me. It's okay, but now you're being brought into the light. We should all try to make a step towards learning how to read, even at the fundamental level, even at the foundational level. What's up, boy? What's up, man? It's my homie, man. So we should all try to. We should all definitely attempt to be able to read quarter notes, eighth notes. All right. So let's talk about the, I guess, the theory of it first. So these are downbeats. 1, 2, 3 downbeats. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Quarter notes, downbeats. All right. Then we'll go to eighth notes on the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Every time I'm saying and, those are upbeats. So I play upbeats. I know this is probably a little trivial for some of us, but I just want to talk about it. All right, these are ups. All right, so you have eighth notes. Quarter notes. I don't think you'll be alright. Alright, everybody understand that foundational principle, right? Yes? Talk back to me, please.
Talk back.
Alright, please. Yeah, alright, cool. So, this groove literally starts on the upbeat. Alright? So, it starts 1, 2, 3, 4, up. Alright? Which is also known as an anticipation. It anticipates the 1. It anticipates the next downbeat. Okay? The next downbeat being 1. So the anticipation of 1 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool? Cool? Alright, so this foundational groove of the song is based off of those that upbeat. Alright? So 1, 2, 3. Tell me when it's been too long. Alright? That's the groove. So the whole groove is really based off of an eighth note anticipated feeling. Alright? Yes, sir.
Can you talk about the kick placement as it cooperates with the...
Sure. Okay, so I'm a church kid. You go to church a lot?
Yes, sir.
Cool. You know how you have those songs that they call call and response? Okay, so call and response is like, praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord. That's call and response. I knew I was going to be able to express. Listen, so or it's like, praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord. Call and response. All right? So, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a church kid, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm a church kid at heart. I'm sorry. Another call and response could be like, what up? What's up? That's call and response. Or, Brian, yo! Call and response. Alright? Y'all feel me? So, the kick drum is working as the response to the snare and the hi-hat, which are the call. So, 1, 2, 3... Alright? So it's literally just they're talking back to each other. Greg Clark once said, Kickstand hat are the steak and potatoes to every meal. They should always be on one accord. Like, your kicking stand hi-hat should always be on one accord. If nothing else is foundational, those are the 3 foundational things at all times. Yeah, I really believe that. Abe Laboriel makes millions of dollars playing kickstand hat with a couple of toms. You know what I mean? Millions by playing this. I mean, he's like a new age Ringo Starr, so it turns into. But everyone check out this artist by the name of. Everyone in DC is listening to this guy. Yep, Ole Barud.
Oh yeah.
Take that down. Ole Barud. OLEBORUD. Ole Barud. Oh man, what? Oh, I mean, we could talk about Rocksteady. I mean, Aretha Franklin. That's high kickstand and hat. Kickstand hat. So yeah, those are the meat and potatoes. Yeah.
Yo, bro, Von Branch going, bro.
Only the gospel. I mean, mostly gospel songs, or is this
No, that applies to everything.
everything?
Oh, that applies to everything. Everything. Your kick like really establishes where everyone will land. So. If you confess the Lord, call him up. If you confess the Lord, call him up. So, if you believe in the Father and Son and the Holy Ghost, call him up and tell him what you want. If you confess it's telling everyone where to live. Everyone where to live. Even when you. It's telling everyone where you're coming back. Straight up. It's telling you. Every time. So, and if you can imagine. Let's call him up again. If you get that, that's how it goes, right? Imagine if it was like this. If you confess the Lord, call him up. Where's it down? If you confess the Lord, call him up. We don't know where it is. We don't know where it is. This is always going to lead you back. I mean, I've seen like Bishop Hez be out with Jeff and he want this. Because this tells him where everything lands. Right now. It tells everybody where that is. So in this song, like in the Charles song, everybody where it is. All right, and in most cases, like you have singers that really can't find downs, so you really want to make sure that you're being very intentional about where your accent of your downs are. In the bridge, we did this ode to Marvin McQuitty, where Marvin McQuitty's like one of the greatest gospel drummers to ever live, in my opinion. period. Like, you have Joe Smith, you have Bill Maxwell, you got Marvin McQuitty, to me. My opinion. Got Calvin, you got Marvin McQuitty. Marvin was king of, me and Morgan, we referenced You're Lord of the Harvest, and we worship you for this song as well. So that's where that. That's Marvin all day long. Like Fred, have y'all seen Fred Hammond live in Las Vegas? Okay. Yep. Fred Hammond live in Las Vegas. He played 12, 8, 10, I want to say, in that kit. 12, 8, 10. That was his setup. Yeah. Marvin McQuitty is a GOAT to me. Straight up. And he's one of those guys that can do it. Alright, any more questions about that song? I'll say this. The ending thing, the whole chop thing, that's a moment where you can add your flavor to the song. And we don't get those opportunities often in gospel. So when you have it, kill it. When it's given to you, take it and absolutely smash it. All right? Stay on the click, because the click is your friend. She's your wife. Never leave her nor forsake her. Don't divorce her. Stay with her. You know what I mean? All right? Any questions on that song? Question, anything? All right, so I kind of want to venture out a little bit. So, I've taken on a secular job where I play for Chris Daughtry from American Idol.
Yeah.
Woo woo. And I love that gig because I'm not playing a lot of notes at all. I'm not playing a lot of notes at all, and I think I'm blessed because I get to play. I'm very blessed because I kind of get to play a lot of different genres. So on the gospel side, I'm playing for I'm playing for Charles and JJ. You all know that. On the R&B side, I'm playing for Eric Roberson. And then I'm also playing for Chris Daughtry. So all of those gigs are like literally different approaches, different ways of thinking, different methods, different everything. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I have to play different things. And I have to be conscious of not playing the wrong thing on the wrong gig. Because playing the wrong thing on the wrong gig gets you fired. And if you're not playing a church gig, you shouldn't be playing 30-second notes. Unless you have a solo or unless it's given to you to play 30-second notes. Calvin Napper is playing for Frankie Beverly and Mays right now. And he does not move from the groove. Literally stays there. Everybody know Frankie Beverly and Mays, right? Before I let go. He's not moving. He's the same drummer that played Giants by Donald Lawrence. That's the same drummer. You know what I'm saying? So it's imperative that we understand different genres. So I want to play a Daughtry song, and the song's called "Waiting for Superman." It's absolutely pattern driven. I'm not going to deviate from the pattern except to play leads and setups, and the leads and setups will be drastically different from what you've heard before. Cool? All right. We fixed the joint, right? You fixed it. That's cool. That's what's the next one? Alright, so again, this song is called Waiting for Superman. Waiting for Superman.
What
For 1 second, Brandon.
Yep.
If there's anybody who wants to move like more closer to the artist, y'all can. Y'all don't have to sit all the way.
Am I loud? Is this why y'all won't sit close? Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel like people. I feel like people didn't. They were like scared to move. Like
No.
I don't want anybody like kind of like in the back. I want them to be
Cool.
like close up.
All right, cool. All right, y'all. This song's called "Waiting for Superman." Very straightforward. We probably won't even have to talk about this, but I just want to showcase a different genre. So, yes, sir.
Is learning also like repetition for patterns is like the best thing to do?
Yep.
But like I know I said before to my TWS people about like just remembering all these different patterns and stuff. So how do you go about learning your songs and your patterns that for your songs and stuff? How do you personally?
Me personally, well, for one, definitely practice. I mean, and I know that's the most cliche answer of all time, but practice makes perfect. I believe practice makes perfect. I really do believe that. You won't be perfect, but what you practice will become perfect. If that makes sense to you. So, I mean, we all can play this because we practiced it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you? Yeah. I've been blessed with good memory. It fails me sometimes. This one Eric Roberson show, he wanted to pull out a new song the day of the gig, and I went down bad because I just couldn't remember it. And I didn't exercise my normal routine. It was like hey, I want to do this new song. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that happens when you're on a gig. And that's 100% my fault. 100%. I try to remember how it goes by singing it to myself. I really believe if you can say it, you can play it. I really believe that. So like for the Charles song, or you know what I'm saying? And I think most times we don't remember because we're not spending enough time with it. I love hearing Aaron play. I can play You Don't Have to Call Back to Him. Because I've listened to it and I've played it a million times. So it's like at this point I don't even have to think about it. I can just play it. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. I mean, now obviously when it comes to more intricate patterns, you have to spend more time with it, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And then try to regurgitate. What helps me is voice notes on my phone. Oh man, when I get something that I think is dope, I put it on my phone. So when I gotta go back to it, it's right there, perfected. And then when I sit down on the kit, I can regurgitate it. You know what I'm saying? That helps me a lot too. Did I answer your question pretty well? Okay. But it's hard. I ain't gonna lie to you. I first started playing for Raheem Devon. I was having a hard time remembering patterns because it was new for me. I was coming out of playing in church, so everything was, you know what I'm saying? It was all that. And now when I had to get to a structure, when I have to play pads and toms and crashes and hits and setups simultaneously, I struggled. I struggled big time because I've never been introduced to that. You know what I mean? And that's hard, especially everyone, pretty much, we're all aspiring to play arenas and play with big artists. Yeah, you like to play patterns, setups, electronics, crashes, hits, all at the same time. Period, point blank. And when they want to chop, you got to play the chop and then go right back to the pattern that you were playing. You know what I mean? And that's difficult. That's difficult. I really thought one day I could play a usher gig, and Aaron sat me down with a pattern that he was playing, and it embarrassed me that I couldn't get it. Like, it was bad. I don't even want to remember that song because I couldn't play it, and I don't ever want to play it because it's so bad. And I remember listening to the playback like, oh man, it's easy. What you playing, the pad? He was like, no, I'm playing everything. And it was like intricate. Like, it was very like, and it was all this stuff. And I was like, yo, how are you playing that? And he's like, yeah, it's a thing. And I'm like, yeah. You ain't lying, bro. It is a thing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely repetition and then just sitting, just practicing it. If you don't have, like, we all got YouTube, we got phones. Listen to Justin Timberlake and the Tennessee Kids. Yes, listen to old Kanye West with Spank playing drums. Those are patterns that those guys are playing. I mean, the list goes on and on of tours that we are aspiring to be. Anything that you aspire for, you should be studying now. If you ain't studying it now, you're way behind the curve because someone else is already on top of it. Period. There's somebody waiting to take the job of your mentor that can play your mentor stuff just as good as they can. And it's not like I'm trying to take his job thing. It's they naturally have it, but they are aspiring to it, so they work at it every day. Like, when I see people like Hayes play drums now, it's scary to me because I realize I can't do that. And he's like just spitting stuff out, like just spitting. Like even Reek, like, man, Reek played Lord Your Mighty. And I literally turned my phone off like, I gotta go practice. And it's legit, and I'm not even lying, I'm telling the truth. He was playing Lord Your Mighty, the little drum break, and he took off, and I was like, I can't play that. I cannot play that. You know what I'm saying? And that's like it's a difficult pill to swallow. And not that Shriek's trying to come for my neck, because Shriek, he can just play drums really good and really fast. So it's up to all of us to just do our best to, in our practice time, sit down with the things that we're aspiring to be like. And I'm going to play this song, but I will say, what up, y'all? I will say this. I strongly believe that there is soon coming a change of the guards in the music industry. I strongly believe that there's coming a changing of the guards. And it's up to you to be ready for that phone call. And that's real. I can go way more in depth, but I'll just let that just sink in. You know what I'm saying? Everyone can't play drums for the rest of their lives. Neil Peart is like an anomaly. He is. I mean, Vinny is an anomaly. The fact that he can still play like that and he's 65. Like, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's depressing. But no, it is. It is. Like, when I hear Matt Garska, I'm like, yo. And he's like the new face of metal drumming. Yes. Animal as Leaders is killing, and Matt is killing the game. Like, so there's a change of the guard. It's happening very slowly, but it's happening. And it's up to all of us to be prepared for that. And I think this assembly of the brethren is a tool that can help all of us be ready for when we get the phone call. One phone call can change your life. And that phone call could be prayer service. Straight up. Because you never know who's coming in the prayer service. You don't know. And how many times have you taken prayer service like, oh, pass me by, oh, Savior, woo-hoo. You know what I'm saying? And what happens if, like, Rodney Jerkins walks through the door? Why you doing all that? The ship has sailed. All right. So let's play this. Let's play this Daughtry song.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question, y'all? Can I ask you a question? Yeah? Okay.
Alright, y'all. Song's called. This song's called "Waiting for Superman."
She just downloaded it, by the way.
Nice. Alright, so trick question. What did I play differently on that song that I didn't play on any other song? What? You said on the floor. Sort of.
The chops were a little different.
Chops much different. Feel?
It was so simple.
I never touched the 10. Never.
So it wasn't in the mix? That was you?
Yeah.
I thought there was something
I
sounding.
never played this 10-inch now. Y'all feel like, man, we dumb. Nah, I don't feel like that. And it's intentional. I don't play it. I don't play a 10-inch tom on this gig. And not until recently, we got a call last night. We're going on tour, March 3rd to April 20th. And with the new material, I'm going to have to add a 10 because it's more time driven. But on that gig, I played 1 up, 2 down, 112, 16, 18, 20 points of bass drum. You know what I mean? So I'm never playing this 10 because it's just that to me it's not appropriate, in my opinion. When we were on tour with Nickelback, Daniel Dare was playing 10, 12, 14, 16. No, 10, 12, 16, 18. But his time platoon was shorter than that. And he said he only played that because he's been playing 10s his whole life. So it's hard for him to try to go from like 10, 12 to like 12, 13. That's hard for some people. It'd probably be difficult for me to do too. Because we're so used to 10, 12. Like, trying to imagine how to play 12, 13 again. I mean, we all been in church where we got 12, 13 big.
Sports.
You know what I'm saying?
Brandon.
You play 12, 13 now? Your times be mad tilted. You know what I'm saying? So it's difficult. And also, on that song, I'm way more linear. I'm all downbeats. Because unfortunately, I guess not unfortunately, that music ain't made for all that. And when I did want to play that, they kindly told me not to. Like, hey man, you do way better just like establishing a groove. Like, we never had a drummer establish a groove like you. You should do that. You know what I'm saying? That's real. Like, I was like, oh, okay. I get it. Don't play no more of those. I mean, I was like, and the keyboard player looked at me and was like, I was like, I get it. Like, I know what y'all want. Now, on that song is pattern driven all the way. The chorus has one pattern, but it has 4 different fills. Fill number 1 is. Fill 2 is. Fill 3 is. Fill 4 is. All through the chorus. So, chorus. Oh, I'm sorry. Every night, night in, night out. No stops, no deviations. Don't play through it, play that. Play that.
Question.
Yes, sir.
How do you tune your drums?
Oh, my drums tune low.
Like, your snare, like what's your cymbal selection? Like what's your
on that gig?
Yeah, everything.
Oh man, okay, everything is different. I got 1 cymbal selection that travel, 2 cymbal selections that travel with me everywhere. These hi-hats, which I think are the best hi-hats ever. I created them. You should go get them. They're so dope. Wow. It's a 15-inch K-Lite and on top, and a 15-inch K dry dark on the bottom.
Can you use the mic? Sorry, they can't hear you on the stream. Can you use the mic?
Oh, my bad, streamers.
It's all good.
Can you
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So these hi-hats are the only thing that travel with me everywhere I go. On the Daughtry gig, I played 2 different rides. I played this ride, which is my absolute favorite ride. I think it just does a great job. But a big lesson learned when I just went on tour, this ride is really heavy, and it carries when you have $6,000, $7,000 microphones and $10,000 headphones or in-ears. So I had to switch this ride out and play a 21K medium crash ride. Yeah. I hated it. But then I fell in love with the ride because the ride is really cool. It's very, very crashable. It just doesn't have enough body. The weight of the ride is not my cup of tea. When I play a ride, I want it to do that. When I play that ride, unfortunately, it does more like this. And that's annoying to me. I mean, and I don't like super crashy rides neither. Like, I like for a ride to be a ride and a crash to be a crash. Me and my personal stuff. So those are that. I play quite a few cymbals. All the way on my left is a 20-inch K dry crash. 20-inch K dry crash. My main crash for the Daughtry gig is this K Custom 19. There's no splash on that gig. There's one stack that lives right here by my 12-inch tom, and it's not this exact model, but it's the 16 K EFX, the 14 EFX, and then a 10 EFX splash, all stacked on top of each other. On my right, my right main crash is the 19 Avitas. This is one of my favorite crashes. That crash is amazing. And then all the way over to my right is the 20-inch EFX. And it's a good thing that you talked about that, Shawan, because I think a lot of times we go out and we see drummers playing. This is no disrespect to anybody. You see drummers playing an 18-inch AAX Ozone, an 18-inch HHX Ozone, and a 20-inch Legacy Ozone, and a splash. I think that we, a lot of times as like people who are influenced, we just play what we see and we don't play what we like. And I think playing what we see is dope. I mean, I stole this from Aaron, putting the stack over top of the 12 was an Aaron thing. And at first his was a China, like the Oriental China, and then he moved to the KEFX, which is dope. He's not playing it the way I'm playing it though. Neither is Uncle G. Uncle G has his own stack thing that's his. And I think a lot of times we just playing stuff because we see somebody else playing it. So we playing the groove ride because Calvin played the groove ride. Or we playing Power Grand because Aaron Lindsay played Power Grand. Why? What does that do for you?
Big son.
If you are continually playing someone else's sound, how do you craft your own sound? And that's real. Like, if someone asks me why I like playing DW drums, I could tell them. And be honest, I don't prefer collectors, I prefer performances. But DW, to me, is the absolute best drum set ever. You know what I'm saying? Absolute best drum set ever. You know what I'm saying? Why do you like Pearl? Why? DW makes maple shells. Tama makes maple shells. Yamaha makes maple shells.
Big D's my son.
It's a different tone. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think personally, because I've been playing Pearls all my life, that Pearl Maples are warmer than DW.
all Yamahas.
Okay. No, I mean, listen. No, sure. What kind of person you play?
Easy that. Easy.
You play Masters. I like Pro Masters.
Oh man.
I love Pro Masters. I don't like them better than DW. So it has nothing to do with the drummer or the sticks. It's just the drum is way too loud. I mean, and I can be honest. I remember this one time I heard Stanley Randolph play Pearl Reference, I Rossi and second. I heard Stanley Randolph play Pearl Reference and it changed my life. I was like, Pearl might be the greatest drum set of all time. Might be. And then DW came out with the performance and my life has never been the same.
So you usually play for
I play DW drums, period. I play DW drums. I have a design series that I like a lot. On the road, I'm playing performances though. 24, 12, 16, 18. And I guess to a degree, collectors can be a little big for some drummers. And big in tone. Like, they can be monstrous.
These are collectors, by the way.
These are collectors' drums. Alright. Huh?
That's way too loud. That's way too
I mean, they could just be naturally big drums, and that's not everyone's forte. You know what I'm saying? I get that. Which is why I prefer performance drums, because I'm a big player. Pause. But I'm a big player, so sometimes you have to be cognizant of that when you're cutting records, when you're playing a gig. You don't want your drums to be too big, or you want your drums to come off the way you want them to come off. Pretty point blank. Because I'm a bigger player, I don't want my drums to be. I don't want my 10 to sound. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes DW can be that way, but DW is the best drum set ever made, and it will always be the best drum set ever made. And I encourage all of you, if you don't know what drum set you should play.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think that? I think it's the most versatile kit. For one, I think that the kit.
But they all versatile.
No, all kits are not versatile. I can give you a really good example, but we're online. I think that the technology of DW is second to none. And I think that the fact that they make shells and they encourage you to tune your shell to a certain note is next level. No other drum companies has ever done it. None of them.
What you say?
The fact that